souls, and welcome back to Latasha Scurry Let's Talk, part 3 of our 5-part series on empowerment and personal growth. I'm Latasha, your host and your sister in this journey toward living boldly, gently, and with intention. Tonight's theme is one that touches every relationship we have, personal, professional, and most importantly, the ones we have with ourselves. We're talking about setting boundaries. No walls, but bridges, no walls, but bridges to self-respect, clarity, and peace. I'm honored to welcome two incredible, brilliant, wisdom, heart and lived experiences in their conversations. First up, we have Asia Rinaldi, a powerhouse of insight and authenticity. Asia is an educator and a mom, and boundary setting trailblazer for countless women. Now, we have a second guest who is Julie DeMoss. She is a licensed psychotherapist who will join us later. And Julie's work is centered on emotional wellness, trauma recovery, and art of saying no with love. Julie brings clinical depth and soulful compassion to every conversation. Ladies, I am going to be bringing on my two guests, but also my fabulous co-host who knows a thing or two about setting boundaries. So tonight, let's welcome my co-host, Helena Davis.
Hi, everyone.
And Asia Rinaldi, our featured guest for tonight.
Hello, hello, hello.
All right, guys, it's been a day. It's a full moon, and we can obviously tell that it is a full moon, okay? So we're just going to jump right into the conversation about goal setting. Asia, let's start with you. What was your turning point? The moment you realized boundaries weren't just optional, but essential in your life.
When I realized that boundaries were essential, like absolutely important, when I started to feel as though I was losing myself, and which is rare. I've had a couple of instances where that has happened, but it was disturbing my peace, and I just started to feel like off balance because you try to do so much for so many people and then accomplish so many things
Yes.
in such a short period of time. I had to get to the point to where I was like, no. And I'm comfortable saying no, and I don't care if you're offended.
Oh, listen.
If
When
if
you're
it
a person
protects
who
my
loves
peace.
feelings and worry about people's feelings, you worry about if you're
No, you
offending
can't.
somebody.
You can't. And you absolutely cannot worry about whether you offend people when it comes to protecting you and your peace. Like I've learned, and I teach my daughter that a lot of people end up in situations or in circumstances that are uncomfortable because they don't want to offend the person. You don't have to be mean or nasty, but the
Okay.
reality is some people can't accept no. And a lot of people ask questions with the expectation that it's going to be an automatic yes. And that's not always the case.
Okay.
So it's okay to say, I'm tired. I don't feel like doing it. I'll get to it tomorrow. Can we discuss it later? Um, so I have no problem offending people. I love you with all the love of Jesus Christ, but I'm firm on not relaxing my boundaries and protecting my peace and making myself a priority and holding on to my personal power. And it took me a long time to get to that point.
Has
But
there been
boundaries are essential.
has there been any one instance in your life that you can think of that caused that to happen?
My divorce.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember that part. I was there for that.
Mhm.
I was there.
Divorce.
So let me give y'all a little background, a little history. Her husband, her ex-husband, was a student of mine. I'm giving y'all my age. Okay, he was in my first year as an educator teaching, and he was one of my students. So I'm just letting you know how much older I am of her and her ex-husband. Okay. All right, Miss co-host, talk to us. Tell us about your thoughts on setting boundaries.
Camera angry.
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. As women, we've been so conditioned to be helpers, nurturers, fixers, peacemakers, and we start off that way. So it's kind of hard that when you start off so strong as the nurturer, that you get burned out 20, 30 years later, and it's like, I need to set a boundary.
Okay.
No, you need to start those right out the gate. So start getting your youngins, your young ladies, setting boundaries from the beginning. Because it's not about pushing people away. It's not about um I don't want to cross what you said, but it's not about just totally being mean to a person to get them to understand your boundaries. It's about teaching people how to treat you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sometimes being mean is necessary, though. If it has to happen, it just has to happen. I'm a firm believer in being very nice to people, and I do have a hard time saying no. So I get caught up in a lot of things that I'm not supposed to because I don't like to say no. And you've called me out on that, Miss Helena. You was like, you don't like telling people no, do you? I don't.
yeah, well, I mean, but I'm the same way. I can say it, but I've had to learn. Sometimes I'm exhausted and I don't want to help.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I don't love you, but I don't want to help you because I'm tired.
Tired.
So it's getting yourself to a point where those boundaries that you set don't exhaust you.
Mm-hmm.
It's allowing you to take care of yourself 100% more than what you're doing for everybody else.
I
Learning.
always
Do you guys remember that book by Shonda Rhimes, Year of Yes?
no, I
I
don't.
Okay.
remember. I remember the book.
Shonda Rhimes wrote a book, Year of Yes, and the book was basically saying yes to the things that you want for yourself
Now, do
and
people
being okay with saying no.
selfish?
Say
Do
what?
people perceive that as selfish?
They possibly could, and I'll tell you why. Because as soon as you don't do for everybody else, yes, you are selfish. If you're not going to tend to my needs or give me what I want, yes, you're selfish because you're only thinking about yourself. However, if at the end of the day, it does not serve you, it does not bring you peace, it doesn't make you feel good, say no.
And the one thing that I have to say though, you've already said it, and you opened the door to this. Hey guys, you're in the chat, you're here watching. Go ahead and put in the chat. Give me any type of emoji. I don't care what it is, or give me a yes when you've had that question that's posed at the top. When your soul is screaming no and you say yes, let me know if you're that person, you've done that before, because I'm still doing it at this age when I have a grandchild, that I feel like I can't say no to her. I'm not saying yes to her parents, I'm saying yes to her. I feel like I should be there for her. I have a hard time saying no, a very hard time saying no. And so it's always that feeling that you don't want to let someone down who is very important to you. We have a tendency to burn ourselves out. And I am getting burned out because I'm back at the point where I was when I was with my young children, and I was going. You work 5 days a week, and then on the weekend you're going for them, and then you realize Monday's back here again, and you're tired. I find myself in that situation with my grandchild because I don't want to tell her no, and then there's that guilt that comes over and sets over me when I have to say no, or I did say no, and now I'm feeling guilty about it. So that's a hard one to battle. But that's just one, because as women, you've already said this, Helena, as women, we are so prone to doing for the husband, for the children, for the job, for the little old lady down the street who just had surgery and she can't cook. We want to help out at the church. We want to help out at the social. And we find ourselves in these situations where we're burnt out because we've been told that we need to be helpful.
So let's go back. Let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
Why do you feel guilty? What does the guilt come from?
The point where you feel like that child, and this is just the instance with the granddaughter. I can speak on other things, but where you've let them down, or you're afraid that they're missing something, so you have to fill that void.
Mm.
Hmm.
All right. So, Miss Rinaldi, I come back to you, and I'm going to ask you a different type of question. Well, on the same lines, but I'm going to ask you another question. So, what boundaries have you set that have improved your mental health?
Saying no.
So, just say no.
Yeah, because you have to love yourself enough, even at the expense of disappointing other people.
Yes.
So when I got comfortable, because I wasn't too far away from the comfort zone, but when I got comfortable saying no, like my whole life changed. My whole life changed. So you might want me to come help you move, but I'm not in the mood today. I'll help you tomorrow if I feel like it. And if
Right.
I don't feel like it, it's something you have to accept. Like I tell my daughter and my little bonus baby, sometimes the answer is no, and that's something you have to learn to accept. You have to live with that because you won't always get a yes. See, people always want a yes, a yes, a yes, a yes, a yes. And then when you tell them no, then it creates this like angst, the uncomfortable feelings inside of them. And now you're the bad guy. And now you feel bad because now you're being labeled the bad guy because you told them no, but you're just tired and trying to protect your peace. So then you have to go intrinsically and say, that's okay. I chose me and that's okay.
Yes.
Um, and I could see Miss Helene having that conversation with you because even when you were sick in the past, it ain't never coming back. But even when you were sick, I remember saying to you, why are you here at work? Tell them, no, you can't come. It is okay. Go home. So when I got comfortable with my no, then everything changed. Everything changed because
But
it's
sometimes,
okay.
sometimes that no is it has to happen at work, and it's your boss.
Okay.
And I can't say this weekend. I said no. We have this event at our school where we have the church, and we somebody has to supervise it on the administrative team. And I've done
Mhm.
3 weekends in a row. And I said I'm just not doing it. I'm tired. I don't want to do it. And the church went on. They found somebody
Mm.
else to do it, and I was
And you
okay with
didn't
that.
feel me.
I
Did
was okay. So I mean, I do have those instances, but they come far and few between because I tell everybody yes.
So I want to jump back to the guilt statement.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of the reason people feel guilt when they have to say no, they're afraid that maybe they won't love me anymore. Or maybe they think I'm just being difficult. Or I don't want to disappoint people.
Mm-hmm.
So is that really a people issue or it's a you issue?
it's a you issue.
Oh, it is definitely
that,
a
that
me issue.
people and I wasn't directing that to you, Taj. I'm just saying, just overall, people out there who are listening may be wondering like, why do I feel guilt? Like I'll throw a quick example out. There is a group that I'm a part of, Mocha Moms, and I've heard some of the mothers who have babies or younger children, and they feel guilty about taking time away, going to events like a sister social where it's just the moms getting together, having a wind down night. and they feel guilty leaving the kids with their dad. And I'm just like, why? Don't you deserve time to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you deserve a moment to shut down and, you know, get some peace of mind for yourself? Why are we made to feel guilty when we put the boundary up? Hey, I need 5 minutes.
Okay.
And don't let people guilt you into saying, why can't I say no?
And sometimes you do have to seek. I always go back to, you have to seek that outside counseling, because there's something inside, intrinsic, that is keeping you from keeping you from not having that guilt. There's something intrinsic, and I do battle with that a lot. This is, if we're being candid and open, I battle with my childhood a lot. And I think I do it a lot more than my brothers, because they were given a lot more freedom than I was given. So, knowing the freedoms that I didn't have, or the restraints, I learned to feel guilty. I learned to feel angry. I learned all kinds of emotions that kept me away from people. But then when I got outside, I went, I got to please everybody, because I've been locked up inside. I'm afraid to tell people no, because I don't want them to experience what I experienced by being told no all the time. I don't want to let people down, because I know how it hurt me when I was always told no. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think on the same lines with what you're saying, I think my issue was I did everything for everybody because I needed people to need me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Being a person who basically grew up by themselves, I didn't have a big family. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a big support group.
Mm-hmm.
It was me. So when I found someone who needed me, I had to be the fixer,
Okay.
you know? So it was more or less like, well, if I don't do it, if I don't help them, then it won't be anybody there to help. Now, boy, I'll be like, kick rocks with open toe shoes. No, no. But I had to learn that it was okay to put me first.
Okay. So, and that's good, because I'm getting there. I'm getting there. There are weekends when I say, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. All right. So, going back to you, Miss Asia, how do you
Mm-hmm.
respond when someone pushes your limits? How do you respond? And we know no, but is there something else that you do, or you use? Because it could be mom pushing your
Oh,
limits.
don't just stop.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Okay.
um, when my boundaries are tested,
Mm-hmm.
it makes me angry. Um, and when I realize, or if I'm in the moment and I notice, okay, this is getting a little uncomfortable, I always address it. Um, so I'll say, hey, I don't like that, or this isn't working for me, or
Okay.
you're pushing me too far. Now, depending upon how hard the push is, I always try to maintain civility.
Okay.
But if people push too hard, because I'm healing, I'm not healed.
Okay.
So when people push
Love
too
that.
hard, yes, sometimes I might snap and then reiterate to them that, like, when you violated my boundary, like, sometimes I feel claustrophobic, sometimes I feel anxious, especially if I feel like I'm not being heard. But I always reinforce and reiterate what my boundaries are. Now, people choose to cross the boundary. To be honest, I can't really say how I would respond. I always try to use better judgment, but then it depends upon the boundary and what's being crossed. But I always try to be diplomatic initially and just put it out there, like, hey, I this is a boundary for me, and you're crossing it, or you're tiptoeing close to it. Um, But it's contingent upon the circumstances. I always try to take the diplomatic approach and
Well, do
letting
you
people know.
find that it's people closest to you
I
that
was going
push
to ask
Always,
that. I
the
was going to ask that
always, always. It's always the people closest to
because
me.
they know you best and they know how to push the button
Right,
to get you to respond.
right.
So when I ask that, I'm thinking more as family and friends. And does it happen in the workplace as well?
At work,
Definitely.
yes,
Definitely.
absolutely. See, now at work, I have no problem addressing the boundary, your customer boundary at work either. But I'm an outlier. Like I'm a little different. Um, because I'm heavy, like staunch on my boundaries. Because growing up, as a kid, there weren't any boundaries, there weren't any structure, there weren't any parents. And then there was childhood trauma. Um, so like throughout the years, I got real comfortable protecting myself, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Um, and I wholeheartedly believe that you teach people how to treat you based on the level or the amount of nonsense that you're willing to tolerate. And if you don't have any boundaries, then you probably feel drained, stressed,
Yep.
overwhelmed.
Yep.
So it's
Not
important.
respected.
Yep.
Just push to your limits. And I totally understand what you're saying, especially when it comes to the work environment. Sometimes you kind of get stuck in the middle of how do I not lose my professionalism with staying within my boundaries and having people respect my boundaries.
Right,
And it's about having relationships with people where I'm going to be comfortable enough in my delivery to you that you're going to understand respect is part of my boundary.
yeah.
And if you can't respect me, then you're violating my boundaries.
All right.
Correct.
I'm gonna open this. I'm gonna open another floor. Do you feel that men or women cross your boundaries more? Which one?
Ooh.
I
Um
will say, I will say,
right, right. It's
let me, and here's why I pulled back because they both try you in a different way.
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, in a different way because women will try your boundaries to see if you really who you say you are. That's what that's about. You seem all cool and well put together, and you seem like you just stern. And I'm gonna test you and see how tight you really are. That's what a
Right,
woman. That's what a woman will do. And on the other hand, a man will say, that boundary that he will test is what can he get from you?
what can he get from you? Yeah.
How easy are you to give in to his need? It's not about your need when it's the male. It's not about your need. It's what can I get her to do for me, even though she says no, 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 no.
All
Can
right.
I get
All
her?
right. Those of you who are watching, chime in, ask a question, leave a comment, agree, disagree. We're open for all things possible tonight. This conversation is about setting boundaries. How comfortable are we? Who's testing our
Right.
boundaries? And then what do we do when those boundaries are tested? All right, ladies, I'm not gonna take you off, but I'm gonna try to put up something in the background, just a slide. I'm gonna see if this works. If it doesn't, I will read off what I have because I have a backup. I have a backup. So what I wanted to do is I'm gonna put up some tips that I came up with. And I want you to chime in and tell me if you feel like these tips, maybe I'm not gonna put them up, but if these tips are valid. Let's just go through them. Tip number one. Um, name your need clearly. So speak your truth with clarity and kindness, but boundaries aren't demands. They're They're declarifications of your self-respect. Use the I statement. I need time to recharge after work, so I won't be available for calls in the evening. What do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? Stating your needs clearly. Can you handle that?
That's a big part of setting a boundary.
So
That
that's my
that is a
first tip.
boundary.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
what? I
yeah.
didn't hear
That's.
you. I
I
didn't hear
said
you.
that is a boundary.
It is. So I think my first tip would be to say your truth. And I like that you said this, Asia. You say it with kindness. You don't have to be mean to somebody to just say, I don't want to.
Right.
And I had a problem with that when prime example, somebody close to us, we were moving another individual, and somebody close to us, when we called and said, hey, are you coming to help? They said, no. And I was like, why? They were like, because I don't want to. I mean,
That's
what?
it.
What do you mean you don't want to?
That's it.
So me being the people pleaser, I had a problem with you telling me no, that you don't want to do something, and this is your relative as well. So I get it. And here I am. I get offended when somebody tell me no. So that's why I don't
That's
like telling
it.
people no. I get totally offended.
But
Mm.
you know what's funny? If you think about it, you don't like to tell other people no, but people don't have a problem telling me no,
Yeah,
period. Like
they
they
don't.
don't want to do something.
They
No,
don't.
Period.
I can't do
They
that.
don't. But
And
then I say
you
my
like to
conscience
think
is
in your
clear.
head, you like to think people gonna think like you. If I go, all out for you, then you're
You should
gonna come through and go all out for me.
yeah, people
Yeah,
don't think
no, that don't happen. Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's how you set yourself up.
But
yeah.
yeah, every single time.
That's how you
Yep.
set yourself up. Expecting to get you from other people. That's how you set
Ooh,
yourself up.
Yeah.
See,
say that again. Say that again. Somebody need to hear that again. Say that statement.
when, when when you expect to get you from other people,
Yes, ma'am.
that is when you set yourself up for failure.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
tell people like don't be offended because this is my boundary. This is the distance that I can go to love you and me simultaneously. If I go past this point right here, then it becomes toxic.
Okay.
That
And
was
I
a
know his
lesson. That was a lesson learned, though. That was a lesson that had to be learned.
now
That
listen,
not to expect me in other people. That
Yeah,
Helene,
was a lesson.
she
leads to
is
a
so
world of
much
hurt.
younger than us, but she's kicking knowledge. She's always
Look,
been bright.
look, what how the kids say, clock it.
All right. So tip number 2, tune into your body. Your body often knows before your mind does. Tight
Yes,
shoulders, racing heart, or a sinking
Hmm.
feeling can signal
yes,
when a body is being crossed. Pause and listen. What do you think about that?
yes,
Tune
I
into your
agree.
body.
I
Yeah, good.
agree. Pay
Yeah,
attention to your body.
wholeheartedly.
Okay. So your body lets you know when you don't want to do something, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Or
Somebody's
if it, your
chiming in.
body will let you know if it's not the right thing to do,
Uh huh.
Hmm.
and if it's not the right thing for you to do.
Okay.
There's a difference. It's
Okay.
a big difference.
All right. Rhonda Taylor is here. Rhonda, I'm going to put up your thoughts. Rhonda says that she has the same issue with her daughter and granddaughter. Sometimes I have to say no and I can't watch her, but I want to do something for me. Oh, yeah. I have that feeling. And then when you do it for you, you so guilty. You feel so guilty that you took time off. You told that baby no, and you took time off for yourself. Isn't that awful that we as women put that type of guilt on ourselves? But Rhonda, I'm here to tell you, these two ladies have it easier than us. They know how to say no, and they're teaching me how to say no. So you need to chime in and listen because they don't have a problem with saying no. And so they're letting me know it's okay. But some of my issues come from deep within my childhood. So I do seek
Yeah.
professional counseling before that because it's hard to just get over that sitting in a room by yourself and having that conversation with yourself. It's hard. So I go to people who are unbiased, who don't know me and don't know the other party, but I do try to be true to the other party and tell the truth on how their characters are, and sometimes their character might be better than mine. I stated I don't have a problem with telling the truth. All right, so number
Mhm.
3, practice saying no without an apology.
That's it.
That's a good
No, no is a complete sentence.
tip.
All by itself. No, that's a complete sentence.
So no, just
No.
no.
Just no.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
not oh no, because no.
just no.
That's it.
So
No.
what I'm gonna add to her
Oh
name.
my God! You said no is complete sentence. That was my description in here for myself. I wrote on here no is a complete sentence. You
It
don't
is.
owe anyone a justification for protecting your peace.
Nope.
Try.
Yeah.
I'm not available for that right now,
That's
or
your
that
confirmation.
doesn't work for me. Oh my God, that is so funny. You read my mind on that one.
That's
What
your
I was about to
confirmation.
add
That's
on
the
to
Lord
that,
work.
what I was about to add on to that was you're not responsible for how others feel about your boundaries. You're
Yeah.
not
Right.
responsible about how they feel about your no.
Okay.
Your goal is to protect your peace. Your
Tell us.
only responsibility is to communicate with them clearly so that they understand, hey, he said no.
Mhm.
Rhonda Taylor, Linda, I don't know if you know her, Helena, but she just said you are her mentor now.
And actually, yes, I do. Roger Taylor is my coworker.
She said,
And
yes, I
I'm glad
get
you're chiming in, Rhonda.
it. Okay. Thank you, Rhonda.
I
So,
do charge a fee though, Rhonda, for my counseling sessions.
okay. All right. So number 4, next tip, and when I'm finished, I will put these tips in the description. So don't worry about it, ladies. Set boundaries with love, not guilt. And see, here I am having to use this for myself because boundaries aren't punishments; they're invitations to healthier relationships.
Yeah.
Frame them with compassion. Here's an example. I care about our connection, and this is what I need you to keep showing up fully. This is what I need for you to keep showing up fully. So it's okay to say it, but frame it with compassion. That makes sense?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So, number 5, be consistent. That
Mm.
I would have an issue with because I am so inconsistent. Um, Telling my daughter and granddaughter no is hard, but I guess I am inconsistent because I have no problem telling my husband no, 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 no.
But you know what?
Sex tonight,
With that,
no.
to piggyback on that, honor your word to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Honor your word to yourself. If you don't like being used by people or having people violate your boundary, then stick to your own words. If I don't want to do it, boom, I'm not doing it.
Listen, y'all two reading my mind. So listen to what I wrote when I said this. When I said be consistent, you ready for what I wrote? It says boundaries lose power when they're inconsistent.
Hmm.
Hold the line gently but firmly, even when it's uncomfortable.
That's when you have to hold it the tightest. You
Okay.
gotta hold it when it's uncomfortable.
Okay. Consistency builds trust with others and with yourself.
Hmm.
Okay. So I'm teaching myself all over again. I knew I had it in me, but I just needed to hear it from other ladies that it's okay to say no. Right?
Girl, look, say it right now.
No!
Say it two more times.
It felt good. It felt good. Okay, number 6.
You gotta give it one more time. Say it when you say it 3 times, it manifests. This is how.
Right.
No! That felt good.
Yeah, like you have to think about it like it's not like a wall. Like I don't know. My computer's lagging.
No, we see you, we hear you.
We can
Everything.
hear you.
Oh, yeah, like it's not like a wall. Like you aren't building up a wall. Just think about it like your nice neighborhood. And those of you who live behind a gate in the community, the gate is not up. to offend other people. It's not there to make other people feel bad. The gate is there to protect the community, to
Okay.
keep out the litter, so to speak, so that they can. And then you have a homeowners association, to monitor when things are off. So you have this huge boundary around your neighborhood, not to make anybody feel any kind of way, but to protect the neighborhood. So you have to think about yourself as like your neighborhood or your garden, and you're putting up the fence and you're putting up the wall to keep yourself in your space in harmony. It won't always be, a critter might get in or two or whatever, vermin might crawl in your garden, but you
Mm-hmm.
have your fence there. And then when those little instances happen, you just get your tools and then you dig out the vermin, you pull out the weeds, but you don't take your fence down. You leave your gate up to protect yourself.
Okay. I like that. I like that analogy.
All right, so wait, don't leave the neighborhood though. Don't leave the neighborhood because I got one more for your neighborhood.
Okay.
Sometimes in the neighborhood, you got to have a gate guard. And what does the gate guard do? The gate guard protects the neighborhood because
Yep.
not everybody should have
Undertakes the
24,
traffic.
not everybody should have 24 access
To you.
to you
Come
in the
on now.
neighborhood. So what you do, Lord, I'm gonna need you to step in and pull some people up off of me because they not respecting my boundaries. That's the gate guard right there.
But sometimes, so it's the people that live with you that have that access to you, that 24-hour access that you have the hardest time saying no to.
No, nobody
No.
has 24-hour access to your energy, your peace. When you come home from work, I don't know if you remember this when you were a kid and your mom used to come home from work and as soon as she walked through the door, you're like, Mom, can we get this? Can we, mom. And she would go, give me 5 minutes. Let me put my bag down. That
Right.
was her securing her peace before she had to go in there and choke some kids for getting
Right.
in her stuff. So that boundary she set from early on. Give me 5 minutes. When I walk in the door, don't ask me nothing. Don't touch me. Just give me 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing you have to do in your space.
Okay.
Yeah,
If
especially
you don't,
kids.
if you don't, if you need 5 minutes to reset, parents out there, whoever's chiming in, I'm gonna give y'all a quick tip. Create a little note for your door. And when you need to turn the switch off, you tell your whole family, husband, kids, the dog, whoever. When you see this sticker on the door, don't knock on it. Don't call my name. Don't call me on the phone. I'm taking 5 minutes for myself. And you have to set a boundary. When they
Mm-hmm.
violate the boundary, knock on the door, call you on the phone. Is somebody bleeding? Is the ambulance, is the house on fire? If not, wait till my 10 minutes is over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we can
And
talk.
and you have to be consistent.
Okay. Rhonda says she's a work in progress. She's working, learning so much from you, from us tonight. No, no, no. Thank you for these talks. Yeah, you want you. And here's the biggest part:
You have to be
you
consistent.
have kids. It is so hard to do that. And I did not do that as a young mother. I did not. I started doing it more when they became teenagers and more self sufficient. But as when they were younger, I felt like I had to be there 24/7. They had to have access to me 24/7. And to take them to let them go to a grandparent who raised me or my husband was kind of like taboo. Like, I don't want to send them away because they can't get to me, or the grandparents are not going to be able to do what I do, which they probably could do it better. And I had such anxiety sending my kids away. It took a long time for me to be able to say, my mom wanted both of them, and I told her no for a long time. She was just like, what's wrong? I'm gonna break them. I was like, no. She said, and I just told her, I said, no, mom, that's too far. You 6 hours away. She said, girl, I raised you. I got access to all the same stuff I had when you were a child. If something happened, I take them to the hospital. Okay, but other than that, I'm giving them love. But I wanted to ask this question. Number 6 tip. Expect pushback and stay grounded. Not everyone will celebrate your boundaries. You already said that, Asia. That's okay. Discomfort doesn't mean you're wrong. Stay rooted in your values and remind yourself why these boundaries matter. Go ahead, talk about it.
Well, one, have you ever tried to pour something from an empty cup?
Yes.
You absolutely cannot pour from an empty cup.
That's why mine's
So
full of Coke right now.
so those 5 minutes, like for me, I was very intentional about setting boundaries. Like my daughter knows, like if I say, okay, I'm taking time to my, I call it a mommy timeout.
Mhm.
And I was very intentional about it, because if not, it'll build resentment, anxiety, depression. So you just have to be consistent. Just as consistent with your no's as you are with your yeses. You
Mhm.
have to be consistent in establishing those boundaries.
But I remember a time that I said exactly what you said. That I'm taking a mommy timeout. And you know what my youngest daughter said to me? She was young though. She was real small. I said I needed mommy timeout. She said, "You don't love us."
And
So there was the guilt. There was that part where I didn't want to take another mommy timeout, because if she's young enough and smart enough to say that to me, then
oh my
I
God.
should not be taking time off. Now I wanted to get
No,
away from me.
but
No,
Okay.
you
of
know what?
course,
There was
I
there was
love
a
you.
missed opportunity in there though.
Right, of
There,
course I
there was
love
a
you. That's why
there-
mommy's taking a time out.
right.
If she
There
doesn't take
was
a
a
time
missed
out, she'll be
opportunity,
stressed out.
Mhm.
and then it also teaches her that it's okay to take a time out when you need one. It's okay to push back from things if you're not feeling 100%, to take a step back. But here's a question that I wanted to ask you, Tasha. Um, Having control, is that an issue with setting boundaries? If you so, and not per se so much for you, but if a person has to have control,
Mhm.
how do you set boundaries for yourself to release that control for other people to be responsible while you're taking a step back?
But you just posed a whole nother show.
Oh, dang.
You just posed a whole nother show, because their control is something that it's a place where we all want to live in. We all want control of our lives. We all want control over everything. And it's just like, say for instance, and we've not even touched on the male species. We've talked a lot about children and we've talked about work, but we have not talked about spouses and ex-spouses.
And
Or
co-parenting boundaries.
right. And so
Woo. Now that's a whole nother conversation.
yes, it is. But since we're talking about that,
Yes, Brittany.
it, it, okay, so a few years ago, we're candid, right? A few years ago, I put us in a financial bind, and my husband said to me, to get us out of this bind, will you be able to relinquish control? He said, because without relinquishing control, we will never get out of this situation. And he says, you are a control freak. And he said, I know you. If I tell you no, you can't have something, you gonna pout, you gonna go around me, you gonna do
And you're gonna
everything you
buy it,
can to
and you're
get
gonna buy that cricket anyway.
it.
You know what? I'm sending you a high five for that one, because girl,
He said, so we're not even having this conversation if you're not gonna relinquish control. So, needless to say, I couldn't relinquish control. I tried it for about a month and went, oh no. And I told him that's the problem with politicians. Politicians start off some of the most humble people. They're ready to go and work for their constituents. They get that control, and my God, you done gave them the world. You gave them the torch to the Olympic Games. because it is so hard once you done had a piece of that to let it go. It's hard. So for me to now want to just say, oh, you can't buy this and you can't do that. Child, you done said some fighting words in this thing right here. Okay. And so the power of the word no is equally it's equal as to power of the word yes. So we're playing with a double-edged sword right here. On one end, no is powerful and it gets us out of things. Yes is powerful and gets us into things. So
Right.
how do we battle that? So my last thought is revisit and refine. Boundaries evolve as you do. Check in with yourself regularly. Is this boundary still serving me? Do I need to adjust it to reflect my growth? What do you think?
I mean, those sound good so far.
So here's my 7. Number 1, name your needs clearly. 2, tune into your body. 3, practice saying no without an apology.
3 times.
Practice saying no without an apology. Practice saying no without an apology. I guess that's why it's number 3. 4, set boundaries with love, not guilt. I'm working on that one myself. Be consistent. Number 5. 6, expect pushback and stay grounded. Number 6. I'm sorry. Number 7, revisit and refine. Fine. Now, that's a wrap up. But I need to open one more door, one more can of worms, one more whatever.
Can I say my 5?
Yes, go ahead, baby. Go ahead.
Okay.
Your
Okay,
5.
so I have the right to protect my peace.
Okay.
My boundaries are not up for debate. Like, it's not something we have to discuss.
All right.
I can love people deeply and still say no.
Mm-hmm.
Every boundary I set honors the version of me I'm becoming. And I'm not hard to love. I just require respect.
Awesome.
That's it.
That's it. Lena?
Okay. Now I'm gonna give you some.
Okay.
Stop running on empty.
Mm.
Start attracting healthier people to be around.
Mm-hmm.
Trust yourself that you've set appropriate boundaries for your own peace. Um, refuse to engage in things that are toxic. You got a question, or was that a praise Jesus?
I felt that in my spirit.
Did I give you 5?
Give me
Was
5.
that
That resonated it resonated deeply within my spirit because lately I've just been engaging because I told you. Like I've been engaging and I have to say I can't do it. I can't.
right?
I
So,
have to.
in case I didn't give my whole 5, my last one is demand mutual respect and emotional safety.
Mm,
Okay.
mm,
Okay. I
Those
mm.
are,
love it. Love it. Love
did
it.
Rhonda just throw something else up? I saw something pop up on
No,
this
I
thing.
just put her last one up because I like that quote so much. So anybody who's looking or watching this on replay, I need you to do me a favor. Take one of these or 2 or 3 and make your own list and let us see what you come up with. So we need some tips too. Maybe we didn't cover something and then it can help us in our daily lives. But here's for another show. We need to discuss that other sex. And if you're binary or whatever, the same sex, I don't care. How do we work with our partners
With
with
boundaries.
boundaries? Yes, and that is another show. But next week, guys, it's vision boards and goal settings. So if you know anybody who wants to talk about boards and goal settings, or who has a business that can give us their vision, how they got from point A to point B, that'd be awesome as well. So I think this was a great conversation. Rhonda, thank you for tuning in and chiming in with chatting and commenting. It is always makes for a better show.
Yeah.
We have our participants who's watching to take control or take part in the conversation. So we have one last tip before we go, anyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Take care of yourself and keep your peace
Self-love.
sacred.
Yep. Self-love.
I like
That's
that.
that's the takeaway for today.
Okay.
Yeah, and boundaries aren't meant to separate us from other people. They're meant to protect the connection so that it doesn't become toxic.
Okay.
Mm,
I'm still growing. I still have to learn to say no. So I can't give you that one tip that sums it up because I'm still in that phase, even at 54, where it's hard for me to say no to people. So I'm gonna my tip before we leave is just continue to revise and evolve because it's never too late. You can be 80 and learn how to say no. So just continue the fight because your peace is worth everything.
Yeah.
Your
yes.
peace.
Yeah, and boundaries aren't the absence of people.
Okay. Look at you. I told you she's young, but she's knowledgeable.
No, like it's not it's not the absent your peace. It isn't the absence of people. It
Okay.
doesn't mean you have to cut people
You're
off.
off. Right.
It your peace is the presence of boundaries. Does that make sense?
Yes, it
Yes.
does.
And the
Listen,
only time you get cut off is when you don't that boundary.
Yeah.
I had to give you a round of applause. All right, ladies, I am going to wrap it up, but it is never, ever. Okay, I think Rhonda, yes, ladies. Thank you, Rhonda. We appreciate you. And next time, if you have something that you want to contribute and tell us, Rhonda, thank you. Give us your one tip for setting boundaries. We would love to see that. Go ahead and chime in before I go. What do you think is the one tip or the one takeaway for setting boundaries before we go? So, ladies, I think having a conversation about men, it's coming. It's coming. It is definitely coming, or just our partners, our spouses. I want to say that is a whole conversation, and I mean a real talk conversation, not a fun one. We need to get them in here and have that conversation on why is it that no is a complete sentence. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So now I can truly wrap up because Rhonda has chimed in, and I hope you come back next week, Rhonda, for vision boards and goal setting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap, and I am going to close this out. But ladies, y'all stay in the background because I want to have some background conversation. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. All right, gotta hide you. Gotta hide you. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was a show that I hope everyone took some good takeaways. I want to thank Asia and Helena for showing up with truth and tenderness. Your words are a gift. So, my co host, she comes up every week and she is ready to talk. And I thank her for sharing my space and giving her true strength. This show is a circle, and each of us completes it. So I just also want to say to everyone who is watching, please subscribe to my channel, LSTV Let's Talk. Before we wrap up, I have one more thing to say to you. I've got a boundary challenge for you. Okay, here's the challenge. If you were watching this in real time or you're doing a replay, pause or and journal this. Where is my life? Where in my life do I need to draw a loving line? Again, where in my life do I need to draw a loving line? If you or everyone you know who wants to be a guest on here, just email me at scurry.latasha@gmail.com. Next week is vision boards and goal settings. So As we close tonight, remember this: boundaries are not punishments, they're invitations to deeper conversation, to mutual respect, and to your own healing. Join me next week for show number 4, where we create vision boards and explore goal setting. Be gentle with yourself, be bold in your truth, and know that you are worthy of every inch of space you take up. I'm Latasha Scurry, and this has been Let's Talk. Good night.